Oh, baby, I'm not gonna lie. I did not expect to come into this video, when I talked about, I'm gonna be talking about Black Clover soon in one of my previous videos. I did not expect to come into this video feeling this way, feeling this enthusiastic, and feeling like, yo, I hope my mission with this video right here, I have a mission with this video, and my big mission is that anybody that has an open mind to either give it another chance, or if they haven't checked it out in general, check it out with Black Clover, because I can wholeheartedly say I am caught up currently. I believe it's chapter 168 of Black Clover, and I gotta say, yo, from what I read, everything, I was about 65 chapters behind, more or less. I was like in the early 100, like 101, 103, somewhere around there, honestly, and it was just consistently awesome, consistently tightly written, no plot holes, a couple of little discrepancies, and we'll talk about all that, but honestly, Black Clover has surprised me, and all of the naysayers that say Black Clover this, Black Clover that, nah, if you ain't read all them chapters, you're missing out, and you can't have a fully formed opinion, because Black Clover, and I guess you would call it almost its second half at this point, right? Well, as far as the amount of chapters we have, it has just done a whole 180. It found its way, and we're going to talk about everything. So if you're a Black Clover manga reader, get ready to hear what I got to say. If you're not, and you're still on the fence and you want to hear more, stick around. I'm going to talk about everything because, whoo, Black Clover, baby. Let's go. So where I left off in the manga was they were at a festival. They were kind of just, chilling around and enjoying themselves. It definitely felt a little slice of life for those 2 or 3 chapters that we had. And it was leading into a big tournament to get people riled up to go and join the Royal Knights to eventually attack the Eye of the Midnight Sun and take them down. That whole group of just villainous people that, they've been doing devious things in the kingdom or whatever. They were going to do a tournament to see who is fit to join up for this big team and attack. And the tournament, one of the things I gotta applaud Tabata, right? And this is not to discredit other series, but I do have a pet peeve when a lot of series do this. Tabata, no matter if people aren't the most fond of this fight, they're not really looking forward to it, Tabata does not skip fights. And oh my god, that is a pet peeve of mine. I really hate when series do that, but every fight that went down in that tournament, the thing about it is too, even if you're not, again, the biggest fan of these characters, like you may know 2 on one team and you might not know anybody on the other team, these fights all were banging. They were explosive. Tabata made sure if you came for an action shonen manga, you got an action shonen manga in this tournament arc alone. Everything about it, I was just like, yes. This is where Black Clover truly, without a shadow of a doubt, found its footing of being its own thing. And not necessarily because obviously we've seen tournaments in shonen manga time and time again, right? But the way it was handled, the way it was done, the way the fights went down, I just cannot stress enough that Tabata did his thing. Now with this arc, it introduced a new character, Zora, which apparently, and again there's spoilers all over this video, he was originally already a member of the Black Bulls. Now he had a problem with just the magic knights in general, the way they treat people, because obviously one thing in Black Clover is the fact that there's royalty and there's commoners, and we've seen it from the beginning of the series where we had Nozel and all of the Silver group, how they're all just treating everybody that's not of royalty like dirt. They even treat their sister that is of royalty because she's not of that caliber of a fighter like dirt as well. So Zora, with his past of his father, that he was a magic knight, and that, honestly, that was dark, and it showcased again a lot of the troubles in this society that these people live in Black Clover, of like, yo, even the magic knights can be garbage, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I mean, you look at the Silver group, the way they treat people, whatever, they're a prime example, but what they did, killing Zora's father when he was the first commoner magic knight, that was a really awesome backstory, and it was little by little unraveled, seeing Zora, which, by the way, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold it back. Zora's design, the mask and everything, 110%. You can't tell me that Tabata did not peep Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, okay? That is Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul's whole mask. Yeah, obviously he changed it up a little bit. It looks like black bandage and the teeth are a little bit different, but that is Kaneki's look, okay? So I feel like one of my favorite series of all time, Tokyo Ghoul, is still with me every time I see Zora in this series, okay? I'm just saying, and the way he played it up, because he was a rebel, And, you know, we've had people that, for the most part, they always try and stick real strict to the guidelines of how this kingdom is set up and, you know, don't mess around. But he didn't care. He would, you know, talk crap to the royals. He even snuck into this exam just to kind of extract revenge, because his whole thing is when he found out, yo, the Magic Knights killed my pops when he was a good man. Screw them. I'm going to do my thing. And, you know, I love when we get the backstory of how Yami found all these people. And it showcases, at the end of the day, they're the Black Bulls, but they're really the Black Sheeps. And not sheep in terms of, like, you can mess with them because they're all hardcore. They're the Black Sheeps in terms of, like, everybody that joined is because they were outsiders. They were outcasted. And in a term, yeah, you could argue, yo, that's like some stuff that we've seen in Shonen where people's have tragic backstories, but it's more so like people that they really just hate everything, or they just don't care and they're all alone, and it's like, yo, let's bring them into the fold. And Yami, the way he does is like, yo, you could throw that robe in the garbage, I don't care, yo, just rock with us. So the fact that we didn't see Zora, obviously there's probably a new idea that Tabata had to add some newer characters, because we had him and then of course Henry later on that were added to the Black Bulls, but it also freshens things up a little bit. And to be honest with you, it's not that they're even bad characters to add. Like, the cool thing is that these are actually really dope characters that are being added to the main cast, so I can't be mad at it either. Honestly, I like Zora a little bit more than a good chunk of the Black Bulls, so yeah, add him in. And just seeing the fights that he had, and, you know, little by little seeing the character development and his relationship development with, like, Asta, you know, working throughout the tournament with him and Mimosa to kind of get through things. It was nice to see his development and progression slowly but surely throughout the tournament, and it showcased again Zora just kind of little by little learning that not everybody's bad. That was like the basic message of Zora, you know, finding things out, like, not everybody's bad, especially you can actually make some bonds with people and it's not gonna really, you know, go south all the time. So something Zora definitely learned. It was so awesome to see the whole fight between Asta and, you know, of course, Zora and Mimosa versus Finral's brother. And I think that was the first time we actually started to see, because it seemed as though Finral's brother was being overtaken by something else. And I think that little by little is foreshadowing that there's an even bigger threat than what we have right now in the kingdom with, you know, Lich and the Eye of the Midnight Sun, because he was turning into something demonic. It wasn't even anything to do with the elves or anything like that. He was actually turning into something really, really dark as they were fighting, and the way it was ended with a draw and stuff like that, really dope. I wish in a way, just in a way, and maybe it's a little bit basic, that Asta would have won just to kind of teach Finral's brother a lesson, but then maybe that would have been too basic, and maybe I would have complained about that, I don't know. But overall, incredible fight, and at the same time, it made it less cliche of like, oh, Asta and Yuno going to the finals, oh boy, yet again. And by the way, Finral's brother, what he did to Finral, I was like, damn, like, yo, no chill whatsoever. And that was just great. Honestly, there's really not much. Like, I have two main nitpicks that I can really pull out of, say, like, yo, that was stupid, like, what are you doing, whatever, out of my catch up. But for the most part, the fights were done nicely, no BS, a lot of strategy, which I love strategy in my fights. Okay, when I see shonen fights, I want strategy, and constantly people coming up with, okay, we're gonna set some traps, and then, you know, the trap for a trap and all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, again, that was most of the stuff we're working with Zora, you know what I mean? Then of course the finals, where Yuno defeated a Magic Knight captain, in a sense. Obviously, you know, the Magic Knight captain, which I can't really remember his name, to be honest with you, is the one that looks like Luck with the little afro or whatever. But, you know, he defeated himself because he got a little too crazy and ended up shattering his own gem or diamond or whatever it was that they had behind them, whatever. So in a way, yeah, it gives the win to Yuno, but it wasn't like Yuno hands down defeated him. It was more so this dude is nuts, and Yuno's new transformation with the crown and everything, straight up. A little tidbit facts in case you never read Hungry Joker. That was straight out of Hungry Joker, except it was the character that looks identical to Asta, Haiji, in Hungry Joker, that had that same transformation with the halo on top of his head and everything. Like, it's just a mix and mash, because Yuno's character in Hungry Joker was actually a guy named Alan Blackman, I believe, and he kind of looked similar to Yuno, except he was a little bit older looking or whatever. So just a mix and match, and cool little fact in case you never knew that. And again, the whole tournament in general, like, that was a dope tournament. Was it the greatest of all time? Nah, no way. But it was definitely a really awesome tournament. No BS of skipping fights. Even the fights that were kind of not really anticipated turned out to be really awesome and a surprise and enjoyable. I gotta say, like, really dope tournament arc. Like, really dope tournament arc for Black Clover, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, getting introduced to Fuegoleon's sister. Oh man, I love me a badass female, and ForneverWorld's sister, and forgive me, I can't even pronounce her name to save my life. So ForneverWorld's sister it is, but just seeing the way she trains, the way she moves, her fights, and you know, the invasion of the Eye of the Midnight Sun's base and everything, absolute savage. Definitely a great replacement for ForneverWorld, to be honest with you, and I'm going to probably talk about it in a whole other video, but I think that when ForneverWorld does wake up, he's not going to come back and be the captain of that group. ForneverWorld's sister is going to stay as the captain. ForneverWorld might have a big role, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in this video, but ForneverWorld's sister, she's going to be a staple. She's very popular, very amazing character. Honestly, just seeing when she took them to the volcano place and the hot springs and all of the training stuff. I don't like when I go into a shonen series and the training is boring or uninteresting, but the fact that she took them to this lava volcano, which is, you know, it turned out to be a hot spring at the very end, and everybody was just trying to figure things out. I wish a little bit, this is a nitpick I have, not even a nitpick, it's a legit criticism. Asta's black power on the side, I think that he mastered that a little too quick, or he learned how to use it a little too quick. He already just kind of used it immediately at the volcano place, and then it was kind of, you know, from there on, he could kind of maneuver with it, and maybe it's breaking away from the typical shonen thing of like, oh, I'm losing control, I can't do it, and maybe that's why Tabata went that way. Maybe he was like, I don't want to just be the same old typical, like, oh, he's losing control, and this is a dark side of him, or whatever, and that's why he was able to maneuver with it so quick, because opposed to like, you know, Naruto with the QB, or Meliodas with his dark side, or whatever, Asta didn't really have that for that long, and again, I think Tabata was just breaking the mold, which again, for everybody that says that Black Clover just is constantly ripping everything off, it went its own direction with that. But again, I wish there was a little bit more training involved and Asta having to understand this power a little bit more, because even now he still doesn't get it. He's like, well, I have this power, let me use it, and not understanding exactly what it is and where it comes from. Then moving on to the arc that we're currently on now, I believe it's still the same arc, whatever, this is where it all began. The attack on the Eye of the Midnight Sun's base. Let's talk about chapters. I want to say it was 144 and 145. Definitely the biggest chapters of Black Clover. I don't know if the anime is going to get to this point, because I'm hearing rumors that it's stopping at episode 51. If that's the case, that is such a shame, because Black Clover gets 10 times better as it progresses. I ain't gonna lie, whatever. But the Eye of the Midnight Sun base invasion, them going in, and you know what happened while they were going in with people on the outskirts of it. Now, we knew William Vengeance, aka spoiler, don't get spoiled if you don't want to, Lich, however you want to pronounce it. He is actually revealed, which it was kind of obvious, to be honest, it was obvious, whatever. He reveals to Kronos, aka the Magic Emperor, yeah, I am Lich, and pretty much there's two people inside of his head. There's one side that is William Vengeance, the guy with the burns and the short hair, and then when he morphs into his other personality, he becomes this monster known as Lit. And I ain't gonna lie, I did not expect that in Black Clover, but he went there, and the Magic Emperor was R.I.P'd, killed by Lit. He, you know, put all the swords in the sky and pretty much got him from the back. I felt to a certain degree, I would have liked a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it was like, yo, do I save the people? And, you know, obviously it's a one-on-one. Do I save the people or go after him? So the way it was done was nicely done, because at the end of the day, yeah, the Magic Emperor is awesome, but he's not a god, and that needed to be showcased as well, and that's how Lit tricked him. But the dual personality is definitely something I'm always fascinated by that in manga, and the way it was handled as well, that William Vengeance, and, you know, the Magic Emperor, he's been suspecting him for a while. He said, ever since I burned you and hurt you in that fight, I rarely saw you anymore. It was just always, you know, him having that Lit personality, so to speak. He never really got to see William Vengeance anymore. And honestly, William Vengeance, okay, I understand in a way. It was like, well, you know, I really appreciate and admire and respect and all that stuff for the Magic Emperor Julius, but at the same time, I don't want to abandon the other side of me, Lit. And when he let them go, you know that he's regretting it, of course, because that was like his one true friend that he respected and cared about, that he let die. And if Yami gets his hands on Lit, it's gonna be a wrap, because that showcase right there and unraveled just how strong Yami is when he cut space and cut straight through the building and Lit had to bounce out of there. Yami will body him and rip him to pieces, because Julius, he was an incredible person. He met a lot of people and changed a lot of people's lives. just with Ami alone, you know what I'm saying? Looking at him, he was a foreigner, everybody outcasted him, put him in the position he is now, and turned him into the man he is today. So just seeing that moment, honestly, very, very shocking. And the crazy thing is, where we're at right now, that was about like 20 something chapters ago, and most people still don't even know that Julius is dead. That is freaking powerful and insane. And honestly, I think if we get ever that moment animated, it'll be a big deal for Black Clover. I think that this arc in Black Clover right now, hands down, best arc in Black Clover, period. Like the Eye of the Midnight Sun invasion arc, all of that, hands down, best arc in Black Clover. But I gotta say, for the current shonens that we have, this arc put Black Clover on the map. Those moments right there, not just that, because I'm not just like, oh, I'm fascinated by death or whatever. The way it was handled, the reveal of William Vengeance and everything happening with Lit, and then of course them attacking the castle or attacking their base. Honestly, just very, very well done. I can't tell you right now, and I'm caught up with Boruto, I'm caught up with quite a few different things, but there's not an arc really that is at this level making me jump out of my chair, oh my god, like Black Clover has been doing consistently with this arc. Okay, the revelations going now into the elves, which I gotta be honest with you, I 110% think that the human that the elves, you know, met, where Lit, the real Lit, the original Lit, met with or whatever, I'm pretty sure that was the original Magic Emperor. Looks just like him. I've seen him a billion times in the anime opening already. I'm pretty sure that's him. Also, which we'll talk about it later, who he's a reference to or who he might be related to. I mean, it's to me, it seems clear as day that Yuno and Asta are actually brothers, and that's their father. But you know, we'll talk about that in another video, honestly, because there's just so much to talk about. So, you know, seeing that in the past is really making me wonder, well, what just happened? Why did they betray the elves to begin with? Was it even betrayal? Was it that maybe the humans were possessed by another being altogether that nobody was aware of? Because constantly going back, honestly, you could even see that it was in a way inspired, and I was actually talking with somebody about this, that it seems as though the events of what happened with the elves is kind of inspired from real life events. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. That's just a comparison I see to what happened with like the Holocaust and stuff like that. That's where I see the inspiration was for what happened with the elves and all of that arc. And it was just honestly fascinating the way it was done. Very, very tragic and sad, but at the same time, it's like, man, so that was the first inklings we really got in the story of a big flashback of, yo, that was the original Magic Emperor, I'm pretty sure. And why did he betray them? Did he even betray them? Did he have anything to do with that? Or is it that they're not even really sure? Maybe Lit doesn't even know that it was that big demon that attacked and did all that to begin with. And it makes me wonder, right? Because if the mind of this guy that we have, right, Lit, that is in the body of William Vengeance or whatever, is that the original Lit? Because he talks as if, like, because Lit was a good person, you know what I'm saying? Lit was not a bad person from what it seems in the flashback, so how could he come to this? I'm wondering if the real Lit has not even been returned to the body of William Vengeance, and that's just a whole different elf altogether that is really, really just disgusted with Lit and doesn't even understand. Because even so, like, if Lit was a good person, maybe, or it could be that that's Lit, and because you see, like, that's not the true nature of the elves, where they're all being reincarnated into these bodies and acting crazy or whatever. It might be that that is Lit, but he's just, this reincarnation magic is kind of tainted by some sort of evil force, and that's why he's acting like that, because it just doesn't seem like that's the original Lit that was such a kind soul and was so, I mean, yeah, okay, you could say that they were betrayed, but if it is Lit, then obviously he's being amplified with this hatred from whatever force is, you know, kind of intervening with the reincarnation magic that's making everybody like Locke and all of these people go bananas or whatever. Honestly, the elf flashback, very, very insightful, and it's making me wonder, honestly, this whole arc is making me wonder, could it be that Black Clover is just ending soon? Like, because the anime's wrapping up from what I hear with episode 51. I hope that's not the case, or if it is, I hope they bring it back, because I really enjoy the Black Clover anime, and especially with all this stuff to be animated, woo, we'd be missing out greatly. But also, it just kind of feels like everything is coming together. We've seen the original Magic Emperor in the past with the elves. What happened? I mean, there's still a lot to explore, and maybe there could be another threat after this that kind of brings together, because we gotta find out who's gonna be the next Magic Emperor. There's a lot to still cover, and the past and everything, the demons and all this, so there's still much to be covered. But I'm just kind of questioning, like, yo, could possibly Black Clover be ending, and that's why the anime and the manga is really just covering so many different things. We got the death of the Magic Emperor already, like, holy cow. Then I don't want to miss out on talking about Henry, the soul, so to speak, of the Black Bull's base. I thought that was dope. He kind of looked like Masaku Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho when I saw his, you know, body and everything, like straight up. Like that was dope to have another member of the Black Bulls. Again, the 2 members that we had, kind of cool, different personalities. I like when it's not just like the same type of character over and over, you know. We got different personalities that are inside of now the Black Bulls, again with Zora and now Henry. Not really much to say other than it was pretty cool to see him alongside, who was it? It was Gordon, him, Gray, and Gauche, which I'm really curious to see, because Gauche was one of the people that was foreshadowed to be one of the elves that, you know, he was reincarnated in this form or whatever. We didn't really see much other than that we heard he attacked Gordon and them and then bounced. I'm wondering who is Gauche, because we see obviously Liar was reincarnated as Liar, and the fight that he had again with Fuegoleon's sister, Flames, no pun intended, like that was Flames. But yeah, the introduction of Henry, really funny, really cool all around, just no complaints there. One thing though that I gotta complain about, and that's Asta's new power of his sword. I don't know if it's a new sword or whatever. It was a little bit hard because especially I'm running through these chapters, right? But this sword conveniently can, after a couple conks, you know, it takes a few hits or whatever, but can get rid of the reincarnation magic. Definitely felt convenient, and it also definitely felt very convenient for Yuno to be able to overcome this power of, you know, the reincarnation magic. I think the Yuno thing, you could argue maybe if him and Asta are both the children of the original Magic Emperor, that kind of makes sense why he's just so, like, you know, strong, and maybe he's from a pure person, something like that you could argue, and maybe he's a reincarnation of the Magic Emperor himself. No, that'd be terrible, but yeah, that felt convenient as well. Those two things I was like, it's too convenient. It's like, come on, plot boy, what are you doing? And all around, honestly, Black Clover has just been absolutely amazing, and we still have more to go. I think the latest chapter, we've seen Yami, he's getting ready to heat stuff up. I mean, he was kind of taking people out left and right, and we've already dealt with quite a few people. I mean, we had the big fight with Luck and Magna and everything, and the whole Luck thing, that was really dope, and kind of dealing with his demons in his past. It seems as though it's being kind of like distorted, like these people that are reincarnated, they're being distorted by their hatred and sadness, and that's probably again from another entity that I don't know if they're going to be introduced in this arc, or there's going to be a whole brand new arc to begin with of like, yo, we got to deal with these people, because there's definitely an outside force that is having some effect on even the elves' reincarnation. Maybe the elves could have been reincarnated but not have that hatred, or maybe the magic itself is delved within hatred, because we even seen that Lit, if that is truly Lit that is reincarnated there, there's things that he didn't even count on. He didn't expect that Asta's grimoire and his swords and everything were not going to belong to him anymore, but he had to admit, like, yo, that's not my grimoire, that's not my swords anymore, let's move on. So we still got Lit, we still got Liar, so there's still some big fights to go on, and this arc, honestly, this is right now Yuki Tabata's definitely climax of arcs we've had thus far. I hope Black Clover continues to get better and better and doesn't end after this, because Black Clover really did a whole 180, and I strongly recommend Black Clover. I know I spoiled a whole bunch of things, but if you like spoilers and they get too excited, definitely go check out Black Clover. Hands down, an amazing experience. 70 chapters, I believe, or 60-some chapters, and boy, I could tell you, Black Clover for the win. But kind of curious what you guys think. If you're a Black Clover manga reader, what do you think? What was the craziest moment? Who do you think is going to be the new Magic Emperor? There's just so many questions I have after this big catch-up of Black Clover. If you're not a Black Clover fan, I recommend it. That's all I'm going to say. It has a rough start, a lot of rough patches. The anime has rough patches in the beginning, but it's one of those series that gets better and better and better and better. And yeah, Black Clover for the win, baby. Black Clover greatness. I can't believe I'm saying this. I was in the same position as you saying, yo, let's stop it. But no, Black Clover's amazing. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, stalk my Facebook. Follow me on Twitch, and hit the bell to get all notifications. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. We making major moves, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, cream stack. Paper rules, if you heard it, best believe that. But now it's whatever, one day I'll be your favorite, but never. No matter how you